Welcome, friends. Today, we are starting a very special first impression series. Interesting. And the house we will be starting our first impression series on is Anthologie de Grands Cru by L'atelier Français Des Matières. Parfums Millésimes. How interesting, I hear you say. So, this is from the same creators as Les Indémodables and the same material providers that provide materials to Les Indémodables and to Les Abstraits by Eugene. And a friend of mine, Jonathan, told me that he had one of these perfumes and I had heard of them before. And then he was like, oh, look, I've got a bottle. And I was like, oh yeah, I meant to try those. And so I just bought the sample set. And here we are. There are 5 fragrances in the line. And the 2 that I will be trying today are Jasmin de Chèrifa and Vanille d'Amine. So, we have some blurbage here, big blurbage, and I'm going to take the time to read it. Full disclosure, I did pay for these, but I am a massive fan of both Remy and Valerie and Antoine, although I don't know if Antoine Lee made these. And their general values and stuff like that. So please take this with a pinch of salt if you wish to. I'm expecting to like these, although there is a jasmine and a vanilla here. I've started with the 2 that I'm probably going to like the least according to my own taste. You know, I bought these from the website Bistro de la Butte, which is Valerie's business in France, and she ships around the world. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. So if you are interested in trying these, please do. The founder of the brand is Remy Bouveret. A few words from the founder. When a Grand Cru inspires a perfume, following years of travelling the world searching for the most beautiful natural extracts used for fragrances, which are now concentrated in this anthology of Millésimes perfumes. The creation theme focused around vintage crops concentrates on the use of natural ingredients palette patiently developed with our local partners from all around the world. Our approach is far from traditional marketing. Quote, our aim is to embody authentic luxury. That's from Remy. Okay. The Parfum Millésime, or vintage perfume, for each fragrance created within our laboratory, we strive to push this process of authenticity to the limit. Comparable to great wines, each vintage of natural ingredient and thus perfume will unveil its nuances, its specificities, far from the standardization usually performed within the industry, which is a major innovation in fine perfumery. It guaranteed raw material quality. One of the elaboration rules at L'atelier Français Des Matières sets qualitative formulation constraints to our perfumers, specifically requiring them to use significant quantities of the most valuable natural extracts. This ensures a bright, beautiful and refined perfume impact on the skin, an undoubtedly more subtle and mysteriously faceted signature. Grand Cru sculptors. Renowned perfumers have carved each Grand Cru, giving birth to this perfume anthology using, in their own words, quote, a variety of high-quality ingredients they have never had the opportunity to use before. Excellence in manufacturing. At L'atelier Français Des Matières, once the fragrance has been created, we take charge of all the manufacturing processes of the perfume, finishing with the sealing of the bottle, and this makes us unique in the intimate world of haute parfumerie. Okay, so the next blurbs will be about each perfume, okay, and for this very special it's just decided to start absolutely pouring with rain. Anyway, this is Britain, by the way. I'm in what it is. It's the 6th of May, and it's pouring, and it has been for a week. Anyway, good days to be doing perfume stuff, no doubt. The first one I will try is Jasmin de Chèrifa. And forgive me for my French. Anyway, since these are very special, and I am a massive fan of the house, and there's only 5 of them in all, I'm going to try them all on skin. Now, really, we should do this anyway, but I don't. I use them on sticks because I try a lot of perfumes, and it's almost impossible to make any headway if you don't use sticks. And that's how a lot of people try perfumes in the wild. You know, when you're walking through a shop, when you do your first impressions, the idea of the first impressions video is to be an authentic first impression of the fragrance, you know? So that's cool. That is what I want to do. But in this case, I'm going to do it on skin because I'm expecting things, you know. These are of a high standard and they're of a high price, and as such, I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited not because they're a high price. I'm excited because my expectations are high from the brand. Okay, Perfume Opus, Jasmin de Chèrifa, Selected Pieces, Notebook of My Harvest Trips. In the Thackeray family, before speaking about natural extracts used in the fragrance creation, it is essential to begin by visiting the fields, located just over an hour's drive north of Cairo, and specifically the botanical garden where Chèrifa and Hussein cultivate with passion and quite impressive variety of aromatic plants. Quote, for the creation of this fragrance, we asked them to elaborate jasmine absolutes from their fields by isolating the flowers from the early, middle and late crop in order to have the full spectrum of jasmine harvested each year from June to October. The perfumer has sculpted this very modern scent based on subtle harmony between the middle crop, jasmine, the centifolia rose, as well as the most precious sandalwood album species, with its typical creamy, rich and captivating notes. The clary sage essential oil from Switzerland adds a surprising touch to this extremely elegant construction. Okay. I know I've done a lot of reading and talking so far and not a lot of spraying or smelling, so please bear with. Let us have a smell. Now, I'm not a jasmine fan, but apparently in here there is Jasmine Absolute Grand Cru Egypt, 2.2%, Rose Absolute Centifolia Grand Cru Egypt, 0.17%, and Sandalwood Album Oil Grand Cru, 6%. That's a fat pound of fucking sandalwood. Ooh, there's definitely jasmine in there. It's got like a slightly hayish kind of vibe at the minute. Dry. I'm getting the sandalwood massively as well. And from what I know about sandalwood is that a lot of it goes a little way. Do you know what I mean? Some notes a little bit goes a long way, and some notes can just disappear if you put anything next to them. And sandalwood's like that. It's why you find a lot of sandalwood oils are used on their own. People will just use sandalwood as a scent in and of itself rather than combining it, unless you're using something like Jarvanol. And Jarvanol's nice. I don't hate Jarvanol, but for me, it's become synonymous with the smell of other synthetics, and not necessarily that synthetics are low quality, but other perfumes that I don't necessarily like because it's used in massive doses alongside them. Anyway, this. Hey. A little bit of brightness from the rose. Maybe a little bit of clearness and cleanness from the clary sage as well. Clean, clear clary sage. Try saying that. It's fresh, but it's got that floral. If you like jasmine, you'd really enjoy this. A little bit of creamy vanilla in the base. Not even in the base. It's back there. I might be wrong about there being vanilla in here, actually. It could just be the sandalwood, you know? It's, a very intrusive aeroplane flying over the house as well. This is... It's very, very... It's becoming a lot more jasmine than it was. At the beginning, you got these kind of like fresher opening... Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Creamy facets. I think I may have mistaken the sandalwood for vanilla. But the jasmine's not, it's not like shitty, it's not fecal, you know, it's not gross. I'm not grossed out by it like I am by a lot of jasmines. It is elegant. It's not for me, but I might know someone it is for, because they're very high quality. These, I think these bottles are, I think they're 30 mils, aren't they? Let's have a look. Anthologies Grand Cru. Shop Anthologie de Grands Cru. Le Petit de Chablais. Oh, no, that's a wine. Whoops. I was going to say, that's not that bad. It's 24 Swiss francs. Lucky Scent. Let's see what Lucky Scent want for them. $210 for a bottle, 30 ml. This has changed again. Apparently, the jasmine's receding now, and it's becoming more fresh again, and it's becoming a little bit more it's like the rose, you know? Apparently it's Egyptian rose. It's Egyptian jasmine and Egyptian rose. The hair quality's receding as well. This is very interesting. Slightly woody. I'm struggling to bring up the words for it because it's unlike any kind of modern floral jasmine that I've smelled, you know? So I'm intrigued. It's got a little bit of animalic. Clean animalic though, but still there's animal lurking within, you know. I'm going to come back to this after I have tried the next perfume. And so we move on to Vanille d'Amine. Okay. selected pieces notebook of my harvest trips with a cultural mix between Madagascar and Comoros. We are in the Chèrifa family, foremost specialists in the curing of vanilla, but not just any kind of vanilla. The Comoros vanilla is also a planifolia variety, but radically differs, olfactively speaking, from the Malagasy standard. The vanilla referred to as bad could be compared to a late harvest for wine. Its name dates back to the colonial period. The Bambao Company was established in the Comoros, and to avoid paying anything for this exceptional vintage, told the children who came to sell them vanilla that their product had a displeasing aspect and smelt bad. That's terrible. It is the specific smell of this bad vanilla with its chocolate vanilla biscuit note that has been magnified in this composition. Inspired by its deep aromatic notes, much different from the standard confectionery vanilla, the perfumer has chosen to strengthen its subversive facets by combining it with the clove bud oil from Madagascar, other specialty of the Chèrifa family, and the incense resinoid of Somalia. Ooh. Green vanilla oleo resin Grand Cru Madagascar, 15%. Olibanum oil Somalia, 4%. Clove bud oil. Jura Rose always talks about clove bud being really good. So I'm interested to smell this. And that's at 3.5%. So here we go, Let's see what you have for me. Again, I'm not a huge vanilla fan, like. We'll just let that calm down a second. Oh, it's starchy with that olibanum resin. It's got this kind of dry, and I'm smelling the clove as well. It's not like the clove in Heaven Can Wait. It's not too much, but it's there and it's dry. It's extremely dry with the incense. If you can imagine incense and clove both being big time in your opening, you will know what I'm getting at here. You will know how this feels. Wow, the clove bud's really strong in this. And I'm struggling with it. It feels like it's drying the back of my throat. Do you know when you breathe in and whatever you're smelling dries out the back of your throat, like the membrane on the back of your throat? That's what this feels like. It's warm. Apparently it was released in 2017. To me, this isn't a jasmine scent. It's certainly not a jasmine centric fragrance. It's not a vanilla centric fragrance. It's much more clovey and resin and like incensey. That dryness, incredibly dry. You know. But if you can imagine like a pile of cloves, it doesn't smell like, you know, there's no kind of viscosity here. It's so dry. And extremely clovey. You couldn't wear this if you didn't like cloves. Like some people are utterly repelled by cloves. And I wouldn't say I'm I'm repelled by cloves per se, but I'll prefer it when they're a slight hint, you know, like a spicy kind of hint in a fragrance, rather than front and center. I'm getting a little bit more of the vanilla now. It's like kind of like riding through to save the day. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Interesting, but it's much more clovey than it is vanillic, and it's much more, and the clove is backed up and driven by the incense, which is almost eye-watering. I'm not kidding you. My eyes are like stinging a little bit, so I might have to leave that one alone. But I wasn't expecting these to be my favourites, because, you know, like vanilla and jasmine aren't my favourite notes anyway. Okay, back to the jasmine. It's a very beautiful fragrance. It's a very beautifully made, round, vintage feeling, jasmine-centric perfume. It's floral, it's got hay, which I think a lot of jasmine kind of gives off, that kind of hay vibe. I actually think I like this more than I like the vanilla. And the vanilla is still really, it's making me tongue tingle a little bit. So I'm struggling with that one. The jasmine is pretty fantastic as far as its quality is concerned, as is the vanilla. It's just, I'm a little bit repelled by the cloves, but anyway, this has been my first impressions of the anthologies, and I will see you again soon.